We're rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling.
All right, we'll just kick it off. Welcome to another episode of the Happy Hour podcast. Happy Power. I just messed up our own name. I know. Welcome to Happy Power. All right, so we got Alex Sydor here. We got Prescillia
Bavoil.
Bavoil. The last name's kind of tough, but
You can say Lya. It's okay.
yeah, Lya _powerlift. But yeah, a couple powerlifting phenoms. Alex, you've been a member for a while at PWRBLD Gym. We've known him for a little while. What are you, 19, 18?
19 years old.
19 now.
Yeah.
And then Lya, you're...
I don't want to say
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
No,
But-
I'm 28.
28. So we got Alex, who's just been like crushing it in like the teen, junior. Now Lya's been in the open, what, 60 kg and 69?
My first international meet was in 2018.
2018?
Yeah.
And you...
Europeans. And my first words was in 2019.
Nice. So that's actually not that long ago.
Yeah, two years ago.
Yeah.
You've been at it for a while though, right? I feel like you were like started early, right?
Yeah, I started lifting at 13, but powerlifting at 16.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
And you always APL?
always US APL and it's been 83 kg since I was 16.
Dang.
So same weight class.
Were you just jacked when you were like young or what?
I think it was just like just puberty. So I was like I just built muscle over time and I just put weight on and I know how to water cut properly and stuff like that. So it's like just gained muscle, lost fat basically.
Yeah.
And just got bigger.
Stayed
and
in the same
Stayed
class,
the same,
yeah.
the weight class realm.
And are you now like 69 kg all the time or staying there?
Maybe. I'm thinking about it because I put on weight a little bit.
So last year was 69, right? That was
Yeah, so I competed at Worlds in September as a 63, and I wanted to do Europeans as a 69, but now I'm really thinking about moving a weight class, so we'll see.
Yeah. And last year was that like basically you like broke all the world records, right?
I tried.
Because I was like catching up a little bit. I was like on the IPF page and it was just like you breaking all these records.
Yeah, it was a big goal of mine, like going towards to break the squat world record, the deadlift world record, and the total. And at Europeans, I wanted to do the same, but on 69. But I didn't get the deadlift record, but squat and total.
Who was the world record before that? Was it Kim Walford?
I don't know, actually. I can't tell.
Or is that...
She's new.
Man, you know?
She's new into powerlifting.
Who was like the world... Who had like the...
It was Kim.
Yeah. Kim Walford, she was a legend as
Yeah,
well.
but at Worlds it was some the people who win the woman who win 69 at Worlds, she broke the world record. But I don't know. She's in the USA team. But I don't know who she was. Who she is.
69.
She's really new. She's really new.
I don't think it was Jessica Butner, but she's I think 80. I think she's 70.
No, she's in the
one up.
76.
She's 76. So I don't really know who's 69.
Yeah, maybe Chase. Yeah, I can't tell right now.
I'm not too sure.
I don't know. My powerlifting history's like not the best of the last couple of years. I don't think.
It's been kind of.
I haven't like been keeping up as much. I feel like I used to like know all the world champs, stuff like that. But
Yeah,
last year, like
this is a new weight class too.
yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of like just to give you guys a little background. If you don't know who they are, just call them powerlifting phenoms, basically. What do you guys have coming up? Anything meet wise?
I have nationals in March, like in 3 weeks.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in order to qualify for Worlds in June. So, yeah.
Worlds, Sweden again this year?
No, it's South
Africa?
Africa. Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah. Was it supposed to be in Sweden again, or?
I hope no.
That was 2021.
That was last year.
That was a couple months ago.
Okay.
Sweden in
So
September.
South Africa.
Yeah.
That would actually be sick.
And for me, I have Powerlifting American Nationals in June, and I will hopefully use that to qualify for IPF Worlds, for Junior IPF Worlds in August in Ecuador.
Yeah.
So that's my goal.
So that kind of brings up a good point. I mean, this will obviously be a little bit more just directed at you. Like, was it the IPF like World Championship goal? Is that why you ended up now, I guess, going Powerlifting America?
Yeah, 100%. I think it was. I kind of got I qualified for IPF Worlds in 2020, first for Belarus actually, but that got canceled due to COVID, so I got it like taken away from me. And I always just wanted to just be a world champion. Like my main goal was just being a world champion.
We talk about it, yeah.
And then I was like, all right, this is my opportunity to do it. I just want to be a world champion, get that like glory of being a world champion, and I kind of want the glory instead of like the money, because now in the USAPL there's money being implemented in these money meets, Pro Series, Virginia Pro, and I feel like I could do that later down the line. So
what does the Powerlifting America have anything going on where it's like, I know USAPL used to be a little strict on if you competed in another federation, kind of like with John Hack when he went USPA and he got like what, this 6-month, 12-month ban or something. Does Powerlifting America have something similar? Do you know?
IPF does.
It's IPF.
Yeah, so I don't
IPF
think
does.
Powerlifting America does, because it's a very new federation.
Yeah.
But if the IPF does, where if you compete in the USAPL now, you get a year ban in the IPF. Yeah, so that's why I've been very restrictive in my meets recently. I haven't done a meet since May of 2021, and then I think in like October and November, the IPF and all of them in December maybe they had a meeting together saying, okay, we are banning the USAPL from the IPF, and if you do compete in a if you do compete in a USAPL competition, you will get a 12-month ban.
Yeah.
So Powerlifting America, no. Powerlifting America you use to get to Worlds, to IPF, but I don't think they have any restrictive things within like the USAPL, USPA. Like they don't really care.
Yeah.
And it's very new. So
yeah, I've been like kind of waiting to see like what's going on with Powerlifting America. People ask me about it. I'm like, I don't know any more than anyone else. Do you, like in France, is there multiple powerlifting federations? Like,
so France works differently. We have WPC, but it's not considered like a federation in France. Like we only have one official federation who is recognized by the government. So we only have real federation IPF in France.
What is it like as far as like like America, right? You got powerlifting is kind of like, it's getting more popular, but it's kind of like underground a little bit still. It's definitely growing. In France, would you consider it like a little bit higher level, or in comparison to like the other?
I think it's way more popular in USA.
Oh, really?
Than in France, yeah. But it's coming in France, but it's still like a niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very niche, but it's getting more and more popular through social media.
Oh, so, yeah. No, it seems to be blowing up everywhere, I would say. But yeah, it's interesting how obviously the impact with like social media and stuff like that. When you first started, I always like to know, like, kind of, there's certain people I was like watching back when I first got started, who and this is like a good question for both of you guys, but like who were maybe some of like the people that maybe influenced you to get into?
Yeah. So it was Jennifer Milliken, Jennifer Thompson.
Yeah.
I had Kimberly Walford. Yeah. All that names, like,
oh yeah, yeah,
very popular.
Those are like some of the goats for sure.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, it was like I was pretty young when I was like 15, so this was around 4 years ago, and this is when I think the untested side was like very like, I think that was when I was prime. So you had like Eric Lillybridge, you had Pete Rubish.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying?
That was my guy.
Yeah, Pete Rubish. You had Kevin Oak in his prime. He's getting there, but like he was prime then. You have, and then those are like my main guys who I like loved watching, because I loved how their intensity. I loved like how they trained, and I kind of like felt like I replicate that in my training a little bit. And then once I started like, I'm gonna be a USAPL lifter instead of a USPA. My first inspiration was definitely Taylor Atwood. Seeing him, being like the number one in 2019 and like the world champion, and then now he's the number one male lifter tested. Like he's insane.
He's
I don't know. Yeah,
he's
the number one.
That's wild.
By far, so by like a long shot too. So it's like I wanna get there. So that was my main motivation. I want to beat him. I want to get there to his level eventually one day.
Yeah, my first USAPL Raw Nationals was in 2015, and I remember seeing him there, and like everyone already knew who he was then. Like I was kind of like, I had literally done a last chance qualifier a month before, just went in because it was in Scranton, funny enough, 2015, and I I remember he was there, and like I remember like people like, oh, Taylor Atwood. I was like, I don't know who he is, but I looked him up and eventually found out who he was because I think he had already won nationals a few times at that point. And again, like that was a while ago. Like
that was I think I don't know when the first USAPL national was, but I'm pretty sure it was the year before, 2014, because he's won 7 nationals. So 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2021.
Yeah.
Because 2020 none, but 2021, so I think 7.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
So, and he's won every single year.
Yeah.
Do we know how old he is?
He's 31.
31?
Yeah.
Damn. Same age as me.
And I think it's pretty crazy because I got into it 4 years ago. He's lifted since his background's football, so like the sport football.
Yeah.
But he's lifted since he was 14 with football, and that was his dream to go to the like a football league or the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But he started powerlifting at 24.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So it's pretty crazy.
So
his
like
backstory.
he started and was just like crushing it.
Yeah, he was already strong,
Yeah.
but he had to like tap into like potential that he had. So he got a coach and then good programming, diet, and everything.
The athletic background was there.
Was there, yeah.
You coached Taylor?
I did, yeah.
How long?
Man, I don't want to derail it, but like, I think the brief answer to that is I got involved after, I think his first Worlds. When was Nationals in Orlando? Were you at Orlando Nationals?
Orlando, I think, was 18.
Yeah, so that's when I started getting involved, and then I was until
Maybe 17.
the last
17,
Worlds.
Yeah.
And first Worlds for him was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
So up until the last Worlds, I was.
In 2019.
Actually, he actually never. You probably coached him that Worlds, but his first Worlds was 2016 in Texas. I'm pretty sure.
Right, so I wasn't involved yet.
Okay, but 2018 is when he. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the one in against Kjell, the Norway Norwegian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after that was when I'm bad with dates.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Experiences and environments. I'm really bad with the dates.
No, I feel that. How long have you been training? Cause you, Iron Volt in New York, right?
Yeah.
You both trained there.
Yeah.
Did you train with him ever before that?
No. So we were. The first time I ever saw him was at Mount Vernon Barbell, if you know that gym.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he trained before Iron Volt opened up. That's when I met him, but he obviously didn't know who I was, and but I knew who he was, and it was pretty cool to see that. And then we, I guess Iron Volt opened up. He went there, and I went there. We started seeing each other more, and then we started talking, becoming friends like that. So once Iron Volt opened up in our area.
Yeah. No, I think even just training alongside of that level. Yeah. You can't help but get stronger. I mean, I like to think we have a little bit of something like that going on here as well. Just brings more strong people in, more people who are serious, more people that can offer maybe some help in training or just the environment itself. You can't help but get stronger here.
Exactly. It just drives being stronger. It's just competitiveness, but it's not in a way where it's I guess in the word toxic, obviously there's competitiveness and you want to beat your opponent and your opponent may be right next to you, but you want to see your opponent get better because it pushes you to get better. So
it's friendly competition.
Yeah. But
that's a good thing
take
for
it serious.
Sure. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you how's the gym when you're at home? What's the gym like? Is it
so our gym it's a little bit special because it's private.
Yeah, it's very small.
It's very small, and so powerlifting is really new in France, and we met with Pana and his girlfriend, and we were like, oh, why we don't do something a little space for just of us? And so we spend money buying all the equipment and stuff, and we are kind of growing a little bit, but it's more so people we know who are coming, or some people we coach, stuff
so
like that.
So it's strictly powerlifting pretty much,
yeah. It's very only powerlifting, and we are between friends, so yeah.
I have to jump in because she's underselling it massively. And the contrast between the American environment and what they train in, literally they trained in a room this size with 3 people.
Yeah, it's very little.
Literally was a rented out storage facility with 3 ER racks. When I first went there and I came in, and for them it was like pigs in mud, they're this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a client.
It's not really a gym. We are just.
No, I think that's pretty common though. I mean, you see that even over here sometimes. If you're in an area that there's not something serious, like an Iron Volt or a Power Build, you might have to get some buddies together and throw something together in a garage.
So the gyms in France are very, very bad. It's only local stuff. Like, you can't find a real powerlifting gym in France.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to be able to have our own stuff and be able to train on power rack and the plates and stuff like that. So yeah.
Are you guys big on like accessory movements? Like, because obviously if you have like kind of a strictly competition setup, do you guys have like the outside gym that you'll go to, or is it just make do with what you got?
Yeah, we just do squat, bench, deadlift.
Dang,
Nothing else.
I mean, it's cool to hear because you have obviously your competition equipment, but it's limited in what you can do for variations, potentially accessories. But you're a world champ. You know what I mean? So some people are like, oh, I don't, I wish I had a power build, or I wish I had like an iron volt gym. Like, you don't really need that. It's a benefit, of course. Like, I think you can see it's a benefit, but gives people who are listening potentially like, stop the excuses of like you only lift in your garage, or maybe you don't have this piece of equipment or that piece of equipment. Yeah. I think you've seen people from, different places on the, country, internationally. They all have different setups. They all have
100%
different things available to them, and they make it work. So it's definitely interesting to hear.
I was going to ask you a question. For that gym, like, do you need like a 500 Wilks like minimum?
Yeah, that's
I lifted there.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, I guess not.
You had the special invite, but
yeah.
No, because all I see is strong people with you, Pana.
There is other people. They just don't post so much on social media.
Yeah,
there is other people.
But it's very strong people at that gym.
So I just made a quick post before we started on Instagram. I said that we were going to have you guys on, and there's just a couple questions. I feel like it'd be good to get some of the potential audience's input. But one thing that I think is really good, especially with all the social media stuff nowadays, it's tips for how to stop comparing yourself to others.
Good question.
And do you guys ever feel like that kind of negatively affects you guys? Because I think there's like a positive and a negative to it, right? Like you kind of talked about it a little bit with Taylor, like seeing Taylor, you wanted to chase Taylor. He's like a motivation.
Yeah.
That's good in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like you also don't want to be like, well, I'm not as strong as Taylor. Yeah, fuck this sport. I'm out. You know what I mean? So it's like
I actually love that question, and so I'll answer the first part where you say like, is it demotivating at a certain point? Like, no. Like for me personally, like I know how my training is structured. I know what I need to do to get to there, and I'm gonna get there, and that's like my desire, my goal. Like I'm gonna get there. One of my biggest pet peeves for me personally is when people come up to me and they say, oh, I wish I started training at your age. I wish I, started training at 14, 15. They start training at 22, 23, 24. I'm like, look at Taylor. Like he started, like, yes, he has a background in football and training, but he started powerlifting at 24. Yeah. And then he built all the way up, 6, 7, 8 years until what he is now. Like you could start whenever and become a world champ whenever. So like, I think comparing yourselves is good to a certain extent. And I think it's motivating. Like you don't want to do it in a way where it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to quit the sport. You want to do it in a way where it's beneficial, and it's beneficial to your training, and it should be motivating in an aspect.
Yeah, I think you got to enjoy the process too, and everyone's process is going to be at different speeds, and you're going to start from different levels. And
you should never compare yourself to that lifter. Like if they have a big lift, you shouldn't feel like, okay, let me do a big lift that day because they did a big lift. Like you got to focus on you first, but use them as external motivation to just overall get better.
Yeah, I do agree with what you say. So I started powerlifting really late too. Like I was already 21, 22 years old, and I was looking at all that girls, and the same, I'd say, I want to be a fucking world champion one day, and I work for that. But it's true that sometimes you can compare yourself and be scary and say, oh, I'm never going to do it. I'm not able to do that. But you have to focus on yourself first, like, because it doesn't help to do that anyways.
You're not doing yourself any favors.
And I made that mistake at my first Europeans. I was so focused in what the other was doing that I missed my lift, and I came second while I was stronger than the first one, and I should have won, but I was so focused on that toxic environment in my head, like yeah. So
is she gonna lift it if she did?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you have to focus on you and what you have to do to get there.
Yeah.
And use it like extra motivation, like because if I'm capable to do that, you can do it too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I want to add on to what you just said, like with the how you're focused on the other woman that you're competing against. I think it's important as a coaching perspective, where you should trust in your own ability, right, and then trust in your coach's ability to fully handle what they do at the meet. So they should pick all your temps, and you're just fully focused on lifting. That's all you want to do. Yeah. Some people, I mean, for me personally, I do like knowing what's loaded on the bar, but some people don't. They just say, "Coach, handle it. I don't even care what's on the bar. You know me as an athlete. Just load it, and I'm gonna lift it, and that's my job because I don't have any external stress of what is it, and you don't want to focus on what other people are hitting. What is he hitting? What is she hitting? Just focus on doing the best that you can do that day, and that's what's gonna win.
I don't even watch the screen anymore. I was used to do that, and I don't do it anymore. I don't want to see if they lift, if they didn't lift. Just focus on myself and what I have to do to go there.
I've had it happen so many times, especially at like the bigger meets, the Arnold Nationals, where it's like, obviously there's gonna be other competition, but they're like, if I hear a lifter say something about this other person and it's squats, I'm like, we have 6 lifts before any of that really matters. And that's really what I should be worrying about anyway. Because if you're thinking about somebody else's lifts, you're obviously not focused on your own lifts.
Exactly.
And at that level, there's already enough variables that you have to kind of handle and stressors that are inevitable. So adding more to it is never gonna work out in your favor.
And a match, it's never planned before. Even I saw people who lift, who post on Instagram and they did super well and blah blah. And the day of the meet, they lift they miss some lift. They do like maybe 20 or 25 kilos less than their gym total. Competition is different.
Yeah,
100%.
Way different.
Yeah.
Your gym lifts, they're great. They're fun. We love them. But meet lifts are totally different. That's why anytime I have a lifter too, they go to their first meet and they don't hit maybe what their gym PR was, I'm like, no, these are the only lifts that matter. These are all new PRs. These are real PRs. What you do in the gym is great, but you're doing those on your best day. You're feeling incredible. The squad's hyping you up. On meet day, you have a little bit of that, but there's also all this external stress that judges warm-up timing, warm-up rooms that are a mess, or
there's temperature of the room.
Temperature,
it gets to the very small details.
There's a lot. So
and you are at home, when you are in your gym, you are you're at
comfort
home, you are
zone, for sure.
And it's funny that you say that because I used to put in my social media because it was like this before, and I think it's still like this. I was like, I'm eating a PR. I don't even say now that it's a PR when I do it in social media because I'm like, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you are going to do on the platform.
100%. 100%.
I like comparing. You like how he said meet to meet, not gym lift to meet, and I hit. It's meet to meet. If you get better at your meet. Let's say I squatted 200 kilos at my last meet, and then I squatted 210, but I squatted 210 in the gym. I hit a 10 kg meet PR, and that's how it is because. And as you say,
a match is never done before, so I don't know. Imagine your PR in deadlift is 220 on 220 kilos. And in order to win, you just need 210. You're gonna do 210 because you want to secure your total and you want to secure your first place.
Yes,
and it's okay if you didn't eat a PR, but you fucking win. So it's all what matters.
That's really what matters. That's another thing too. Is with both of you, and I mean I've seen Alex hit a ton of PRs in the gym, but maybe a little bit more so for you. Are you concerned with hitting a PR in the gym when you have a meet coming up? For instance, right now, with your training over the last month, is the goal a PR in the gym, or is it more so?
I can't even answer because I just changed my coaches. So I was training by Pana before, and the philosophy of training is so different from what I'm used to now with TSG and Ben and Jason. So before I would have said, yes, I need to have done that lift to be confident in order to do it at the meet. But now I'm not eating any big lifts like I used to, so different.
Just to touch on, because I feel like everyone wants to know, and everyone I think honestly almost probably overthinks programming, but you've been with the same. You're with Sean still.
Yeah, 2 months around. Not 2 months. 2 years.
2 years.
2 years and a couple months.
But you just switched now.
Yeah.
Or like
so
recently
when I studied powerlifting, I was with a first coach. I switched with Pana, and now I'm with THA.
Yeah.
And it was 3 different methods and 3 different philosophies.
Yeah. Did you work with anyone before Sean?
Pete Rubish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a couple months, like 6 months, going into my first my first Raw Nationals.
Yeah.
And we did win, so.
So just to like get a little bit of insider information, obviously not like give everyone like what exactly you're doing, but like training frequency, I feel like is always something people are interested in. They're like, oh, I should train like this lift this many times a week. Like how many times a week are you hitting the big 3?
Yeah, so I hit squat 3 times a week, bench 5, and deadlift 2.
5.
Yeah.
We
just upped it to 5. So, and for me it's working because my Tuesday, the volume's increasing and we're getting stronger and the bench technique's getting better because obviously you have like the arch, like the massive arch. And,
I wish I could do that. I could say the same.
The massive arch, but the biggest thing that was probably beneficial was the extra bench day, and that bench day is used as really practicing the single, like the 1 rep.
Yeah.
So I do a couple sets of singles on Tuesday, and it kind of sets it up nicely for my Saturday singles. And I've been noticing huge progress, bar speed, lower RPs, but higher weights on Saturday days, which is amazing. So.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like he's benching 5 times a week, but as he just said, like managing the volume per session. I think everyone especially when you're newer, you're like, oh, like, all right, I'm doing 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 6. Or like they think like the higher volume and stuff like that, but it could just be like maybe you're working up to a single. You know what I mean? And like that might be it for the day. Like I've seen a lot of success with that with my own training, my own clients. Maybe you just hit that single just to do it. It's competition specific. Doesn't really add to fatigue that much. Yeah. And
practice.
Yeah, it's practice. It's like basketball
RP.
Players shoot a lot of free throws. I mean, if you want to be good at squat, bench, deadlift, you got to squat, bench, and deadlift a lot. So.
Yeah, but listen to her. Hers is
it's
even crazier.
Well, we are practically the same. So
close, but the squat. I mean,
I train 5 times. I have 4 squats, 5 bench, and 2 deadlift.
Dang,
4 squat.
That's a lot.
He was saying that sometimes she will get up to 5 squats sometimes.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know if that's gonna happen. I hope it never has to happen.
Okay.
Is that like because of maybe like the equipment limitations, or is it just because like with the super advanced lifters, like I've like heard, and like some of the people I have, they're pretty high level as well, but like you can be more specific to like kind of like inch out those like the high top end, whereas like somebody that's newer, maybe they're still developing like the hypertrophy phases a lot more. Like I don't know, I always refer back to like Andre Melanchav, or however you say that. Like he used to say like he just squat benches and deadlifts and like doesn't really get any accessory work in. It was just like all comp specific. You think it's like do you think that seems to be more true for the more advanced lifters, or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I was to say my own experience, it's that like typically at this point in my involvement in coaching, it's like I think people come to me when they no longer can make progress, and it's largely that you can make it for so long doing so many other things, but at some point you have to hyper-specify.
Yeah.
And if you look at it in the professional world outside of powerlifting, look at it in things that are also motor learning, like music. Like if you want to be top class, you have to be hyper specific.
Yeah.
Hyper specific. So, I think oftentimes you have to get into sort of uncharted territory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a cool perspective to hear about. And I've seen the same thing with like lifters that I've like followed over the years. It seems like that's the case. They're always doing squat, bench, deadlift, SBD days, But how before Ben, was it less frequency?
No, I had quite the same.
It's always been pretty high frequency.
Yeah. And actually, at first when I started working with Pana, I had only 2 squats, and I was like, I love squats so much, I want to do 3, and we ended at 4. So, and I feel great. Like I feel very great, and it helped my deadlift actually to squat that much. So.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it still becomes like an individual thing. What somebody else can handle is not going to be what you're going to be able to handle. If you're new and you're only squatting once a week and you're making gains, you might be able to ride that out for a while. But once that slows down, add the second day. Don't go, well, I'm squatting once, I'm going to go right to 4, and we're going to blast through this. Like,
I was gonna say something about that. Like, if you are making progress on once a week, like, don't change it. But like once it stops, then add 2. And then if you're making progress on 2, then don't change it until it stops. And then like you don't want to fix what's broken. Or you don't want to
fix it if it's not broken. Yeah.
You don't want to fix it if it's not broken.
No, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about the programming a little bit, because it's just like you hear people in the gym all the time. It's like they're constantly like talking about the programming. They're changing programs. They're changing coaches. It's like they're not even worried about lifting. It's like they're only thinking about programming. Like, how's your lifts actually going though? And they're like, nah, it's the programming. I'm like, all right, well, good luck with that. They're on their 9th coach in, the last 3 months. But, consistency is obviously key. I think, allowing yourself
and
to like.
You have to find your way to lift too, like in order to be efficient in your movement and stuff. Like, it's not only programming. Like,
No, I mean, just even like normal daily life stressors, your work schedule, your family life, your relationships, all of that stuff comes into play. So I feel like if you're set up with like a good program, you have like a coach that like is attentive and like actually gives a shit, maybe stick with them for more than 2 weeks and see how that goes. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty good. I mean, what do you guys have coming up? Anything coming up? I know you have the meet in a couple weeks.
Nationals.
And then you said
I'm going to Arnold this weekend.
Are you?
Yeah.
Me and David, I think we're going, and it's going to be a 7-hour drive because I didn't buy plane tickets, and I just looked, and they're $450 a piece.
That's rough.
I'm not a very good planner.
I would have loved to be there, actually.
Yeah,
I've never been to the Arnold.
When you were here, I was like, oh, maybe she's doing something at the Arnold.
To be honest, I didn't even know that it was.
Yeah. The Arnold, I feel like, always sneaks up on you because it's like early March in Ohio.
We have one in Europe too. I've never been, but at some point I will go in Spain. Nice. And now it's supposed to be in UK too. So
yeah. Do you guys have like your federation like during these big expos as well? Because the Arnold for like USAPL is like one of the biggest. Is it similar like that over there?
So it's IPF. It's directly IPF there. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys getting on. I'm sure you'll see Alex down the road more and more. He's here. But I appreciate Lya. I appreciate you coming through. It's awesome to have a world champ from France on the podcast. And that's all we got. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't. Leave us a comment, like, share, all the things. I think we're done.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
How long was that?
I don't know.
30? Yeah, 30.
Oh.
Good.
Like 33.
That's good.